I wake up and I dress myself. Another day in quarantine. I wake up and I dress myself. Another day in quarantine.
As you can maybe tell by the intro of this video, Melbourne's back in lockdown. So I thought this would be the perfect time to finally make that skincare tip video that all YouTubers seem to make at some point. As some of you might know, I used to have terrible skin as a kid. I think it started in about high school, but I just had breakouts all the time. I don't have many photos from that time, obviously because I didn't like taking pictures of myself, but it was definitely one of my biggest insecurities. I just felt like it was the first thing that anyone saw about me. And I just felt like people would see me regardless of what they saw. All they would remember about me was that I had acne. Now, it never got to the point where I had to take medication and things like that, but I personally was very, very insecure about it. I was so insecure to the point where when you used to get 11 wishes or like an eyelash or something like that, I would always wish, I would pray for clear skin. But I gotta say, at this point in my life where my skin's not perfect right now, I still get acne, I still have coloration, but I'm very grateful that my skin is now more manageable. It is closer to what I had always wanted. I'm very happy at this point. So I thought I'd make a video with tricks or advice that I feel like I'd never really seen collated in the one video when I was on my skincare journey. I did the whole Korean 10-step I did the whole 10-step Korean skincare routine, sheet mask every night, specially made products. I would watch all the YouTube videos, just like most people probably did, and it didn't do anything. But throughout the years, I felt like I learned things that hopefully would make a difference in someone's life if they wanted advice. And the funny thing is, I actually woke up one day from a dream and I wrote down tips when I was barely awake. I wrote down all these things and then I went back to sleep. And reading them back now, they actually make sense. So I added some to it, and hopefully these are going to be some sort of skincare enlightenment for someone out there. I just really hope this helps someone. So here we go. Tip number 1, change your pillowcase. You don't have to change the case. I do every second night. I flip my pillow every night between uses. This just makes sure that there's no bacteria, dirt, or anything like that from your hair, from your face that you've left on the pillowcase overnight and then you sleep on it again. It's the same principle as not wearing your outside clothes in your bed. You're bringing dirt and stuff from during the day outside onto your pillow and then you're rubbing your face on it all night. It just makes sure there's a nice clean surface for you to sleep on every night. The second tip I learned from K-pop. I don't know if it's placebo, but it's quite meditative and it's very therapeutic. When you wash your face, count to 60. I think this is helpful because it makes sure that you don't slack off and just wash your face scrub, and then you're done. You really get in there, you have time to cover every inch of your face thoroughly, and if you have time left over, then it's a sign that you haven't cleaned deep enough. So generally when I wash my face, I wash my cheeks, and then I wash my forehead, and then I wash my nose, my chin area, and if you do it thoroughly, it should take you about a minute. And doing this day and night just make sure that you really clean your face properly and give your face a little bit of a massage to get the blood flowing in there. I just think it doesn't hurt to do, right? My third trick is I don't use a towel to dry my face. I don't dry my face, period. The theory there is a towel, like a pillowcase, can harbor bacteria. It can grow things because it's wet most of the time. And if it's not hung in a well-ventilated area, you run the risk of putting a moldy towel on your face. So what I do instead is after I wash my face or after I get out of the shower, I do another activity, just one activity. So if my face is still dripping wet, I'll brush my teeth. Move the water around so your skin is sort of moist, but not wet to the touch. You know that kind of moistness, you know. And that's perfect if you're using a product that's got hyaluronic acid in it or something like that, because those products are meant to be applied to skin that's slightly moist, not dry. I've actually used, sorry, there's a bug. And really just work the products in. Trust me, the water will go with it and your skin's gonna feel so much more hydrated. It's gonna lock that moisture in your face as well. Tip number 4, I think. I use a different cleanser in the day and the night. My reasoning is you don't do anything during the night, you're just sleeping. It's not going to be as extreme as when you're outside exercising, when you're interacting with different kinds of air particles. So you don't need a heavy duty cleanser in the morning. If anything, it's stripping your face of healthy oils, I think. So what I do is I use a foam cleanser at night, but in the morning I use a Cetaphil cleanser. And I've always been of the opinion that Cetaphil cleansers don't do anything. So that's a perfect one because I don't need it to aggressively cleanse my face in the morning. I think just trying to be as gentle to your face whenever you can is helpful. Tip number 5, obviously this doesn't apply right now in the middle of a pandemic. This is for future you, when we're back to normal, when travel is a thing again. I know sometimes when you travel you can break out because airplane air or germs or not being able to have your full skincare routine with you. But let me tell you, my skin cleared up so fast when I was traveling. And for what? Years back, I went to Hong Kong, Japan, and the Philippines, and at that time my skin was bad, it was problematic. And I realized in that month, I came back, my skin was clear. Like, it was like this. And at the time I thought, oh, it's just the climate in the cities, like the Philippines is really humid, maybe that's what made it good. But when I came back, it stayed for a little bit, like my skin stayed good, and then slowly I started getting acne back again. But it was very slow, and it was very fortuitous because the timing of it was I came back for about 6 months, and then I had to go on exchange to the US. Now there's no evidence to back this, but I think those 6 months overseas locked my face. It locked my skin into the state that it is in now. I traveled around the US, it was a whole thing over 6 months, and my skin, best it's ever been. Like, I'm gonna try and find pictures to put up, but like, barely any issues. It was life-changing. And when I came back, relatively good skin. So I think the last time I traveled, again, it was like a month or so, I went to Europe and Asia to like see my friends. It was in 2019. I had gone on exchange in 2018. And I think the trip before that was in 2017. So it's like when you go see your dermatologist, but instead of seeing a dermatologist, I just go overseas. Take up that what you will, but give it a go. Like, change up your climate when you can. Safely, of course. Try going on a trip. Try going to another city to live for a while. You might be surprised that maybe this entire time the issue was the climate and the air in your city. Number 6. This again is from K-pop, from CL. She said in an interview, when you wash your face, wash your hairline. Like, especially this area, like the sideburn area, wash your face with your face wash as if your hairline is a part of your face. I really hope people are already doing that, but I definitely wasn't doing that before I found out about this. And I was like, that makes good sense, because like the only other time you wash it is when you wash your hair, and God forbid you wash your hair like what, every 2, 3, 4 days sometimes. Like, I know girls, we plan our workout days around specific events, so sometimes we'll work out and not even wash our hair because like I need to wash my hair tomorrow, so I'll just work out today and then I'll work out tomorrow and then I'll wash my hair then. Wash your hairline because you wash your face every day, twice a day. Number 7, exfoliation will be your best friend. Now that does not mean go overboard and scrub your face. Don't do that. What I mean by that is, if you have blackheads, if you have like these little bumps on your forehead, which like I do, and I have blackheads too. I have like big pores in my nose. I get that from my mom. Exfoliation is gonna help that a lot. I used to use the St. Ives scrub, awful for your skin, I now know, but back then it was really useful for my blackheads on my nose. I don't use a physical exfoliator now because it is quite abrasive, so I use a chemical exfoliant. This is the one that I use. It's from The Ordinary. I use it like once a week, and it really helps. It refreshes the layer of skin on your face, and it just makes sure everything is like smooth. The little bumps, I find that it looks a lot better the next day as well, and it clears up all of the oxidized heads in your blackhead, which is what that is. It's like the oxidized tips of those pores. I know there's also different kinds of chemical exfoliants. I've heard a lot about Paula's Choice, so if you want to do a little bit of research yourself, give things a go, see what works for you. Number 8, apply the rule of get dressed and then take 2 things off to your skincare routine. I know the 10-step skincare routine, some people thrive on it. You do you, boo. I'm not saying everyone has to live like this, but if you're having issues, maybe the thing is you're just trying to do too much too quickly and your skin doesn't have time to accustom to things, to show you specific symptoms, to tell you what's wrong. Back when I was doing a crazy amount of stuff, my skin would go haywire and I couldn't tell you what was causing it. I was using new products every other month. I was adding things at the same time. At one point I was using like 3 different serums and I didn't even know if they went together well. And then eventually, after my skin calmed down after my trip overseas, I stripped it back to like the bare minimum. It was 1 cleanser, 1 moisturizer, I didn't even have a toner, and 1 sunscreen. And I was like, you look okay right now. Let me use just this and you tell me if anything's wrong. And if it felt like, you know, my skin felt dry or my skin felt oily or something like that, I could at least add ingredients one at a time and see, okay, if I add hyaluronic acid, does that help the dryness? Is that your issue? But one thing at a time. And then slowly over time, I've discovered like the 2 cleanser thing works well for me. I still don't use a toner and my skin looks fine. Could it look better? Sure, if by better you mean airbrushed, photoshopped to the standard of people on Instagram, but day-to-day living, like, I don't wear base makeup anymore. I think when we start treating our skin and our face as an organ and less like an accessory that we need to decorate and put on show all the time like this, it becomes a lot easier to take care of it and do what is needed for it. So that was essentially me funneling my knowledge into you guys. I hope at least one of those tips was new to you and that it'll be helpful. Comment if anything works for you, if something doesn't, if you find watch outs and things like that. Let other people know, like share this knowledge, and if you'd like to, please subscribe and like. Thank you very much for your time and for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Like, my teenage brain was like, if I had clear skin, all my problems would go away. It's that hedonic treadmill issue where like you think you want something and then when you finally get that thing, you realize it doesn't solve any of your problems.